Nagbabalik po muli ang inyong lingkod at nagbabalita ng mga balitang dapat nating malaman dito sa ating bansa. Ito ang Balitang Pambansa. Ating ngang matutunghayan sa channel nito kung ano ang nangyayari sa loob ng ating gobyerno at syempre tumutulong na rin sa ating mga mamamayan na malaman ang katotohanan dahil mayroon tayong karapatan na malaman ang tunay na nangyayari sa ating bansa. Ngunit bago natin panoorin ang balita, huwag niyo pong kakalimutan na mag-subscribe sa ating channel at pindutin ang notification bell para lagi kang maging updated sa ating mga bagong videos na ina-upload araw-araw. At sa ating mga solid viewers naman dyan ay maraming salamat naman po sa walang sawang pagsuporta. At syempre, huwag din pong kakalimutang mag-iwan ng like at i-share ang ating mga videos. At kung mayroon ka naman pang opinion, ang ating comment section ay bukas para sa inyong mga hinaing. Ito na nga mga kaibigan, ating panoorin ang buong video. Salamat po muli and God bless!
Ano yung Vice President sa hindi na gabi. Sige na. Lagi ako, nawalagi ako. Gitu dong. Grabe ako, titing biton og may lagi po. Dumadaan lang ho dyan si VP Sara, pero talagang nagkakanuloan siya. Yan ho ang sinisirahan nila ng walang humpay. Yan ho ang gusto nilang pabagsakin kasi malakas talaga sa tao. Alam nyo, kung sa tingin nitong mga nasa administrasyon, nasa upper hand sila ngayon, ayaan lang ho natin sila. Sa 2028, dyan na talagang magkakaalaman. Makikita ho nila na talagang ang pagtitiwala at pagmamahal ng sambayan ng Pilipino nasa mga Duterte. Wala ho sa kung kanino mang politiko. Madali lang naman ho kasi yan eh. Ikumpara na lang ho natin. Panigurado bago ho iiwan ni Marcos Jr. itong administrasyon na to. Sabog-sabog ho ito. Ngayon pa nga lang, di pa nga niya iniiwan. Nakakalahati pa lang siya. Papunta pa lang siya sa kalahati. Sa June pa lang siya mga kalahati, di ba? Sa June, tama, sa June pa lang siya mangangalahati, pero nakikita na ho natin mga kababayan na marami na talagang nagpatong-patong na ho ang problema ng Pilipinas mula nung pumasok itong bangag na Marcos na to. Grabe naman yan. Si Lenny Robredo, wala ho tayong nakitang ganyan nung siya ang vice president. Ikas talaga itong si Vito. Mahal na mahal talaga siya sa bayan ng Pilipinas. Mayor Rama. Pagkatapos niyan, punta ho tayo dito sa naging talumpati nitong si Vice President Sara Duterte. Pakinggan ho natin itong mga kababayan.
Sudamo ka ng madaot diyan, kanang inana, kanang painom ka niya, malain mong lawas, sana, or kanang wala niyo. Dili, sa president. Sabihin ko ninyo, kinsa nagpadala sa iyahan. Nga niya, gibuhat sa kuwao, ano siya? Anak diri, anak. Sabihan ka mo, lamang ka. Sabihan ka akong kaagi. Anak siya diri, anak. Anak siya. Pagkaman diri, next. Diri, anak. Tapos, ang iya nga ba yung kakaganing Ano gani? Kaya ka lang init, kuryente sa sulod. No joke. Kanang, ingana lang siya, pero sa sulod, kanang, kuan, mura siya kanang init nga, basta ragana, grounded. Manang, pero diris, hindi lang. Pero sa sulod, mura siya kanang anak niya, pag man diris, na siya. Hindi ba naman ako naman, kay kapila na kong ginawarningan, anak. Kanya ito pa ka ng, batanon pa ko nga politiko ba, pinakauban ako nga mga konsihal, magsulti, maging na sila, pagbantay o pikpik, pagbantay o ka ng painunon ka, laot yung magdihan, unya, masuutan pirmi, o ka na nagagilak, dalawan, kay para pangontra, anak. So, muna yung kuan. Pagbiya na lang kasi saan pa man. Iingat dito, di ka dito makagawa na rin buhi. Ito matuos ako ang ganina. Kanya ako ang kaupan. Ito pa uli. Nasaan di ako sa kong anak na mauli ko. Tali kami ito tumutante. Ako siya bubuto. Ako natin tawagan ng Japan. So dire, pipik, anak. Tapos, igugod na ko siya. Nawalmi nga na ba yan yung puana? So, igugod na ko siya. Sa kadaghan sa mga tao, anak din ako siya, anak ako siya, pero kapaspas kayo siya. Nakabalik. Kaya sa kadaghan ba, sa kagubot sa mga tao, nawala na siya. So, pag-anak niya balik, wala na po ka. Kabalik po, mura na pa ng vaccine sa pikpik ba. Kabalos ka ko, anak. Tapos pagkahuman ako. Pagkahuman ako, nasakit na ko. So, murag October ba to? October 2023? Nga pagka-December. Nasakit na ko. O niya, na-hospital na ko. December. O niya, pagka nauli-ulian ko, na okay ko. Di pa uli ko sa kong mama o Davao. Anak kong mama nga, uli na dito sa Davao. O niya, pagkahuman, itambalan, ana, PT, physical therapy, o niya, binisaya, idungan na duha. Ana, niya, pagkahuman, na okay ko, nakabalik ko January, pagkahuman, April, nabalik na po ito sa hospital. Tapos pagka May, naoperahan ako.
Igorgor na. Iyam lagi
Ipo ako kabalos lagot. Kinapo. Lawa rin tagang samis sa sila. Alay lang. Kaya kung taga-tubin na ito, padala ko pa.
Ayun na nga mga kababayan, yun nung pinaka-latest na pagsasalita nitong si Vice President Sara Duterte sa mga kababayan natin diyan sa Misamis Occidental. Ito rekta ho tayo dito sa oral argument diyan sa Supreme Court na nangyari kahapon. Ito ho, game.
Attorney Hermosura, you're also excused. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ito na ho.
Okay, Mr. Solicitor General, please.
May malilitsyon ngayong araw. Pangalan Maynard Guevara.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Maynard!
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Solicitor General. Mr. Solicitor General, can you please refer to the provision in the law, UHCA law, regarding which reads, no portion of the reserve fund or income thereof shall accrue to the general fund of the national government or any of its agencies or instrumentalities, including government-owned or controlled corporation.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Is this the first time last year? Was it the first time that GOCCs, or any government agency for that matter, were required to review and reduce their respective reserve funds for the purpose of producing funds to be transferred to the National Treasury.
As far as I know, this is the first time, Your Honor.
All right. So, would you agree that in so doing, review and reduce their respective reserve funds? Okay. The PhilHealth specifically reopened the closed books. Its closed books in 2021, 2022, and 2023.
Your Honor, I am not really very sure about the technical meaning of reopening one's books. But as far as I know, based on that provision of the special provision 1D, chapter 43, on the unprogrammed appropriations, what is simply required is for the GOCCs to review and reduce to a reasonable level their reserve funds on the basis of their historical disbursements over the past few years, 3 years to be more specific.
Yes,
So
Mr.
it's a matter of
Solicitor General.
simply looking at the data pertaining to their annual disbursements for 2021, 2022, and 2023.
All right. And because of this review, the PhilHealth was able to reduce its reserve funds for these 3 years. And it is those funds that the PhilHealth transferred to the Bureau of Treasury.
No, Your Honor. They computed the reasonable amount of reserves based on actual disbursements for the past 3 years. And the remainder is the one that was used as basis for determining the amount to be remitted back to the National
So
Treasury.
do you mean to say, Mr. Solicitor General, that for 2021, there was an excess reserve funds?
Excess of reserve funds?
Funds, yes.
Well, I would say that, excess of reserve funds in relation to what, Your Honor?
Reserve funds are specifically earmarked to answer or cover payments
Yes,
of
Your
the
Honor.
claims of beneficiaries. And if there is an excess, to fund programs that will ultimately reduce the financial responsibilities of the beneficiaries. And third, if there's still excess in the excess, to invest the same. So, Mr. Solicitor General, in 2021, was there excess reserve funds?
Your Honor, if we are going by the definition of reserve fund under Section 11 of the Universal Health Care Act, that reserve fund is determined by the actuarial computation.
Yes, Mr. Solicitor General, I have no quarrel with that. My point is, was there excess funds in 2021 coming from the reserve funds of PhilHealth?
Yes, the answer to that question is yes, Your
and
Honor.
Section 11 tells PhilHealth what to do with the excess funds.
Exactly, Your Honor.
Doesn't it? Yes?
No, Your Honor, there is no violation because that responsibility on the part of PhilHealth to make use of any excess over the reserve fund for the twin purposes of increasing benefit packages and reducing the contributions from the members is something that can be implemented within the period of 10 years. It's not something that has to be implemented immediately. So in other words, even if we have that special provision 1D, it does not mean that the obligations of PhilHealth to spend the excess over its reserve fund has been abandoned, because that is something that can be complied with at some future time. It's
At some future time.
It's a 10-year period of implementation, Your
and
Honor.
this is the sixth year.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you have not started with the programs yet, because according to you, the excess funds may be devoted for other purposes. Because anyway, the timeline is 10 years.
No, Your Honor, there is no inconsistency, because as we speak, PhilHealth has been increasing its benefit packages even before Special Provision 1D came into effect. And more so after that provision, special provision, was enacted as part of the unprogrammed appropriations.
Yes, Ms.
Akala siguro nitong si Marcos Jr. makakalusot tong si Maynard Ibarra. Hindi, kahit nag-ano pa kagaling ang abogadong iharap nyo, pagkamali, hindi kayo makakalusot.
We have
Mr.
seen a
General.
slew of benefit increases over the past several months, Your Honor.
Several months, not only. Several months only.
But even
When PhilHealth is required to do it from the time it has been created under UHCA.
that is very true, Your Honor,
Yes.
but this is a matter which is reserved to the Board of Directors of PhilHealth. This is
Yes.
a management
A
thing.
management and a business judgment. But then, the judgment of PhilHealth to disburse its funds is limited by Section 11. That reserve funds, as it is named, is reserved and cannot be subject to the discretion of PhilHealth to be used for another purpose.
We are referring, Your Honor, to the excess over the reserve fund.
Yes, but the excess is also subject to the provision of Section 11. And Section 11 mentions the purposes for which this excess should have been used.
Yes, Your Honor. Let me discuss the second purpose, which is to reduce the contributions of the members. In our opinion, Your Honor, that is something that PhilHealth itself cannot do at the moment. There is no mechanism provided under the Universal Healthcare Act that would authorize the reduction at this time of the contributions from the members. What we see in the Universal Healthcare is a schedule of the premium rates from 2019 down to 2025. But after 2025, there's nothing there. And there is neither any provision for a reduction of the contributions rates, the premium rates. So it is our opinion, Your Honor, that legislative action is necessary to bring down the contribution premium rates.
Right? That is your opinion, Mr. Solicitor General.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. But this court's, my reading is this. This is self-executing. And it is PhilHealth that must execute it because the law is in place already. All right. All right. When funding unprogrammed appropriations, how does Congress determine where to get the funds and which appropriations to realign?
Your Honor, under Special Provision 1D, there are various sources of funds, such as excess of revenue collections over the targets, or new revenues, whether these are tax or non-tax. There are foreign loans approved, which might also go into the pool. And finally, this new additional source.
And excess reserve funds.
Excess...
Reserve funds.
No, it's called
As a result,
fund balance.
Yes, as
Your
a
Honor.
result of the review and reduction scheme
To reasonable levels
Yeah.
of
to
their
reasonable level
reserve funds.
is discretionary. It has no fixed standard. All right.
There are
So-
guidelines, Your Honor, set by the Department
Yes.
of Finance for determining the computation of what should be a reasonable level.
Yes. According to the DOF, the funds to be remitted to the National Treasury will finance urgent national projects. In Annex A of your compliance, dated November 8, 2024, pages 1 to 4, the OSG enumerated some of these projects, including routine maintenance of national roads, the Panay-Guimaras-Negros Island Bridges, or the PGN Bridges Project, and payment of right-of-way. These are all construction projects, Mr. Solicitor General, correct?
Not all of them, Your Honor.
All
Some
right.
of them pertain to health projects.
No, I'm talking about the routine maintenance of national roads, the PGN Bridges Project, and payment of right-of-way. Correct?
In a sense, they are
Yes, they
routinary,
are.
ordinary expenses.
They
of
they
expenditures.
pertain to construction projects of the government. Correct?
Infrastructure.
Yes. You can call it that, infrastructure projects. All right. With respect to the PGN Bridges Project, per DBM's budget of expenditures and source of financing, FY 2024 report, the PGN Bridges Project appears to be fully funded by the Export-Import Bank of Korea in the amount of 174.49 billion plus. Is there an urgency to transfer the PhilHealth funds when the project is already fully funded?
Your Honor, this is a matter really of delving into the wisdom of the legislature in allocating funds.
Yes.
So while
Funding a project that is already fully funded under the category of unprogrammed funds.
I didn't quite get the
Programs.
question,
Yes.
Your Honor. Pardon me.
Yes. Export-Import Bank of Korea has loaned the Philippines 174.49 billion plus. Is there an urgency to transfer the PhilHealth funds when the project is already fully funded?
Your Honor, I think one consideration by the Congress in doing so is a determination of when a project is already implementable. So if a project that has already been identified and sufficiently funded is considered to be non-implementable for the given fiscal year, then I think it is the decision of the Congress in the exercise of its policy or wisdom, so to speak, to move it to the unprogrammed appropriations in the meantime.
Yes, all right. So, has the government moved this amount to the unprogrammed funds of the government?
There are so...
This
sorry, Your Honor.
Export-Import Bank of Korea loan, has the government moved it to unprogrammed funds?
we will have to check on
Yes,
that.
please check on that.
Yes, whether that has been actually transferred only or removed altogether.
Yes.
Because there were certain removals made by the Congress in the proposed infrastructure or other projects
How
of the
can
government.
the government have removed this when it is a loan specifically for that purpose?
It is something that can be deferred, Your Honor, even
Yes,
if it's
what
funded.
is the reason for deferring it?
Your Honor, I cannot speculate on the
Correct.
reasons of the
I go
congressman.
now, yes, to my next question. Has the government spent even a single centavo from that loan, considering that the project has not even started?
Nako.
Well, there is nothing to spend for if the project has not even started, Your
So
Honor.
where is the money?
The money
Magaling itong si ano? Magaling tong si Honorable Ami Lazaro Javier. Mahusay.
went presumably to the National Treasury for the purpose of using it for projects and programs under the unprogrammed
So we have
appropriations.
unused funds for the project, and yet we still got money from PhilHealth to supplement this fund that has been unused for years.
Not automatically, Your Honor, because even if the funds, even if the sources of funds under special provision number 1 of the unprogrammed appropriations is already there and is ready to be used for the projects under the unprogrammed appropriations, it is still a question of whether the implementing agency is ready to implement that project. So if the implementing agency does not think that it can implement such a project within the given year, then it will not ask for any allocation under the
Yes.
unprogrammed appropriations.
Yes, but aside from the foreign funding from Korea for this project, in 2022, there was additional funding from the GAA for this project in the amount of 50 million in 2022. In 2023, another 57 million. This is over and above the Korea Export-Import Bank of Korea loan. Where did this money go when the project has not even started?
Nako.
We will check on that, Your Honor, because that is a very specific project which we have not really examined.
Yes,
We're
please
looking
do
at
that.
the totality of all the projects that were defunded or where the allocations had been reduced, and or some projects that had actually been removed from the program appropriations under the NEP, and which may have found themselves in the unprogrammed appropriations.
Yes, Mr. Solicitor General. And based on the special allotment release order, the use of funds for the PGN Bridge project is released on a quarterly basis, showing that the payment of funds is done in phases. More, based on the press release of the local government of Iloilo on the project timeline, the construction period for Section A, which is the 13-kilometer Panay-Guimaras project, is from a third quarter of 2025 up to the fourth quarter of 2028. Given these premises, what is the urgency of remitting the subject funds if the construction of the PG and Bridges project has already been funded and has yet to start in 2025?
Your Honor, the urgency is on the use of these available funds for all the projects listed under the unprogrammed appropriations. There are so many of them. I think 57 different
Yes,
purposes.
and it's one of them. And it's one of them. And it shows that it has had multiple fundings All right. On maintenance of national roads, which national roads are we referring to?
Your Honor, we can refer to the SARO released by the Department of Budget and Management to determine which particular projects had already availed themselves of funding from the provisions of special
So there are no
provision.
specific national roads that are covered by the unprogrammed funds.
Your Honor, what is stated under the unprogrammed appropriations are purposes. Purposes, not specific particular project.
Correct.
Now, it depends on the implementing agency to determine which specific road project it wants to be implemented using the funds available from Special Provision 1B.
Yes, thank you for that, Mr. Solicitor General. In the 2024 GAA, there is already an appropriation for the maintenance of national roads under its special road fund of 15 million, 1.6 billion under maintenance, repair, and rehabilitation of infrastructure facilities and other related activities, routing maintenance of national roads, and 463 million under maintenance, repair, and rehabilitation of infrastructure facilities and other related activities, routing maintenance of national bridges, all under the DPWH budget. More, per DPWH Department Order Number 32 Series of 2020, the road fund shall be remitted to the National Treasury and earmarked for the construction, upgrading, repair, and rehabilitation of roads, bridges, and road drainage. Perhaps each one of us pays the road tax each time we renew our licenses or we register our cars. Considering all these fundings, why is there a need to get additional funds from PhilHealth for the same road maintenance under the category of unprogrammed appropriations?
Your Honor, as I have explained earlier, during the deliberations of the budget, on the budget by the Congress, they determine whether some or a few or several of the projects identified by the proponent agency are something that can be implemented within the given fiscal year. So I cannot speculate, but I can only think of the reason that they may remove some of these specific projects identified in their belief that they cannot be implemented anyway or can wait until some future time, and therefore they remove them from the programmed appropriations.
Programmed appropriations, what I understand is this. There are already programmed appropriations, but in addition, unprogrammed funds were also sourced out from GOCCs. PhilHealth is one of them. So here's maintenance for roads, national roads, that carry both programmed funds and unprogrammed funds. All right. Now, let's go to the payment of right-of-way. Of course, as Solicitor General, you wouldn't know how many properties the government is projecting to pay for, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
But under the 2024 GAA, DPWH was granted 2.5 billion for payment of right-of-way. So why is there a need to tap PhilHealth funds for payment of right-of-way?
Your Honor, let me just clarify that we are not referring solely to PhilHealth funds. I mean, the remainder of...
Correct.
We are referring to a pool
Yes,
of funds.
I'm aware of that, Mr. Solicitor General. But it is a fact that money was taken, billions, in fact, 89 billion, although a little was restrained by the government, by the Supreme Court. So that's the fact, that billions of pesos were taken from the reserve funds of PhilHealth. What? For the construction of a bridge that has not even started and that has been funded many times over, and a right of way that is already funded by millions, by billions, and then maintenance of the roads that is already funded by billions under the GAA.
Mahihirapan ho talaga.
Your Honor, under the
Mahihirapan ho talaga si Maynard Guevara. Paano mo didepensahan pagkamali kahit anong gawin mo, mabubutasan at mabubutasan ka? Huwag mong isipin, Maynard Guevara, na napakahusay mo, mahuhusay din yung mga kausap mo dyan. Huwag mong isipin na makakalusot ka sa mga yan dahil kung paano ka mag-isip bilang abogado, ganun din mo mag-isip. Di naman ho magiging, ang tawag ito, magiging associate justice. Itong si Ma'am Ami kung putyo-putyong abogado. Hindi ko mangyayari yun. Kaya kung iniisip nito si Maynard Guevara, naku, mapapaikutan ko Supreme Court dito. Malabo hong mangyari yun. Malabo yun.
The purposes listed under unprogrammed appropriations, the biggest chunk goes to social projects, including health projects. And as a matter of fact, as of December of 2024, the total amount of 46 billion pesos, thereabouts, more or less, had been devoted under the unprogrammed appropriations for social, more particularly health projects, such as the regional hospitals of the Department of Health, and most importantly, Your Honor, for the payment of the long overdue health emergency allowances of medical workers who were supposed to be paid during the pandemic, but whose payment had been substantially delayed. So the very first payment made out of the unprogrammed appropriations went to the payment of the health emergency allowances of nurses and other medical workers.
But there is an overlap between this general purpose for unprogrammed funds on one hand and the special purpose for which PhilHealth funds have been constituted. Right. Now, the other projects funded from the GOCCs, including PhilHealth, include management and supervision of comprehensive peace process, payment of personnel benefits, priority social programs for health, social welfare and development, higher education, and technical and vocational education, revised AFP modernization program, pension and gratuity fund, financial subsidy for purchase of photovoltaic mainstreaming for rural electrification. Now, may I ask, which comprehensive peace process does this refer to?
I'm not sure exactly which is being referred to, but I suppose that refers to the long and ongoing peace process that has started many administrations ago and which has not been completed. So I suppose this includes the peace process involving our brothers in southern Mindanao.
Yes, but like the other programs, under the unprogrammed appropriations, the 2024 GAA already has an item under the Office of the Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity for this purpose, which is 459 million plus.
No.
We're flashing it on the screen. What is the need for additional 688 million plus budget under the unprogrammed appropriations. Is the peace process part of the mandate of PhilHealth?
Again, Your Honor, I cannot speculate why Congress put such a project under the